Hi there, we're in the middle of winter at the moment, coming towards the end of January, and one of the few nice days we've had since the beginning of the year. So I thought it'd be good to get out with a camera and do a quick tour of the venue to show you the swims we have available, the layout of the lakes, and a quick rundown of the mobile home facilities which you can rent if you need accommodation. Well, this is the mobile home. It's fully equipped, comprises of a double bedroom, a twin bedroom. It has a fully equipped kitchen with fridge, freezer, microwave, gas hob and all the cutlery and crockery that you will need. Has its own private shower and toilet, and the living area has a bench seat which can also be converted into a bed if it's needed. We have Sky TV as well as French digital TV. We'll look at peg 6. This is the mobile home peg, and one that's generally fished when people rent the mobile home, but you don't have to. Which you can fish out to the left hand side or down to the right hand side along the margin here. This is the main track that leads down the venue to the centre bank and the Tortue Lake. Coming now to the main part of the lakes between the two. Got a centre causeway that's pretty good actually, because it means people can fish back to back. You don't have to, you can have quite a social, it's a good social venue. Set out that way actually. First peg you come to on the right here is the peg 13 on the Tortue Lake. It's a good peg. You can see out to the right hand side here the margin. Got the deep water in front. Probably about on average 10-12 feet in the summer. And out to the right hand side, access to the left hand side of the plateau there. This is peg 5. Not fished that often because the mobile home is so popular, and when the mobile home peg is occupied I close this one off unless there's two anglers in the mobile home and they want to share this end of the lake. Well, this is peg 14. It's on the centre bank on the Tortue Lake. Quite a good peg. I've had some good catches off it. You've got access to the centre plateau, shallow water in the summer. It's quite weedy, but if you fish to the spots, the fish do come in there, and obviously in the warmer weather they're quite often in the shallower water. We set the pegs out basically so that they could be a nice social, so you can fish totally different areas of the lake but be fairly close together. Next peg available here, this is peg 15. Again, plateau is accessible in the middle. As we have the one probably on the shadow line is where the plateau will be, right smack bang on the plateau. Deep water in the margins here, 15-16 feet on average at this time of the year, probably 12 odd foot in the summer. You get quite a variation of water level here depending on the water table and how high the river behind is, which doesn't flood in, but it obviously feeds the water table, which feeds the lakes here, and as they're sand and gravel bed they come up and down very quickly. This is peg 4. This is a peg, first peg I ever caught off on the venue. It has a gravel bar that runs down the centre here, and obviously the far margin being only about 70-80 metres across from the bank is a very good area, particularly when the water's up in the trees. The fish get right in there and you can pick them off. Bit of weed out here. The gravel bar is fairly clear, but you can see quite easily with the clarity of the water where to put your baits in the summer. Takes a bit of work, this venue. It's not a chuck it out and crack a beer type venue. Next pit swim down. Again, these two pegs are very good for a couple of anglers, two guys together for instance. This is peg 3. It's a peg I fished a lot when I first got the venue. I had the bulk of my initial catches from here. Again, far margin, very good. I have open water to the right where there's no weed at all. And the end of the gravel bar comes along here. A friend of mine did very well off the surface here a couple of years ago. At about 15 or 16 carp taking floaters, so it does work in France, so bear that in mind. Coming on down here now to the another couple of swims. One on the Tortue one on the Croix Blanche. This is peg 8 into the sun. Get a good view down the lake here. It's deep on both right and left hand sides. You can get the plateau, which is about probably 35-40 meters cast in front. Well, the margins here, I've had, they're very deep, probably 14 odd feet even in the summer. I've had fish that come right in close to the bank, and I've had them under my rods on this swim. Swing around now to the peg behind. This is peg 2 on the Croix Blanche Lake. That right hand margin is obviously very productive. The fish get right under the branches there, which when the water goes down in the summer gives you good cover along the edge, but very little danger of getting snagged up. And then other possibilities out to open water can be good here because it's clear. Can be good for cats. And the left hand margin down here, which is very good under the side there. Again, it's a shady margin because of the way the sun circles the venue. Peg you can see opposite, peg 7. Doesn't get fish very often. It's the only peg that existed here when I got the venue, and is one that generally we leave closed. As is peg 1 up on the bay on the right, which is these days just a stalking peg, as no one fishes it, but can be quite good in the summer when the fish are up there. This track here is gets a bit sticky and bumpy. It's the only one we weren't able to surface when we did the tracks because of the tree line embankment. Here we're coming down to peg 9 on the back of the Tortue Lake. The first peg you come to as you come down that back bank. At the first ever 40 on the venue was caught from this peg back in April 2000. 44.12, remember it like it was yesterday, which was a good start. Good head of fish in here, lots of 40s, 50s. Again, as with the Croix Blanche, average is probably low to mid 30s. Bigger cats in this lake. It's a lake that's done cats to 150 plus. Nice wide peg this. Bit of shade. Good in the summer. Nice encampment. Peg I usually fish quite close into the margins with. I've done some good fish here in the margins. Can fish out to the plateau on the right, but that Christmas tree is quite often a target for me because you can see it at night. But again, a comfortable peg to fish. Coming down now to peg 11. A couple of pegs that quite often fish together because they're close proximity to peg 12. But again, this gives you access to the deeper water. But a good margin peg. The tree on the right there, just a rod length out in front of it. I've had a few fish out into the deeper water, or out onto the plateau if you have a bait boat or rowing boat. You want to take a bait out there. It's quite a few possibilities here. These two pegs are quite often favoured by cat anglers because of the deeper water in front, and the cats are quite often in the deeps. Well, here we end up on peg 12. This is the last peg on the far bank of the Tortue Lake. Peg has been really kind to me over the years. I've had quite a few 40s off it. It's generally a very productive peg and a very popular peg. So it's probably over the last 4 or 5 years it's had some of the best catches of the year. You got the bank on the left hand side along the bushes can be very productive. You've got open water, and at a pinch you've got the plateau on the in the centre. So generally speaking, it's a peg that's pretty sought after and a good peg. So I hope you've enjoyed this brief tour of the lakes. I know it's the middle of winter, and it'll look fairly different in the spring when the leaves are sprouted. But it gives you a basic idea of the layout of the venue, the pegs that are available, and what you can expect when you arrive. So I look forward to seeing you sometime this year. All the best. Cheerio.